Welcome back to Mac Music Review. I'm your host, Mac, and today we're looking at an album. Before I do, just want to say there's going to be some stuff down in the description. If you want to know how the channel works, all that good stuff will be down in the description. Today we are looking at the album Fly Exam by Jgivens. Before we do, this is the album cover. Fly Exam is the sophomore album for the very little well-known, the very little heard of Christian rapper Jgivens. This album was released in 2015, a couple years after LV Envy, his first self-released album. After that, he got the attention of Humble Beast because he's super creative, super talented, and he's Christian, and he's a rapper. So that's everything that fits the Humble Beast label. And this album was produced in large part by the members of Beautiful Eulogy. That's Braille, Odd Thomas, and I can't remember the other one's name. There's three people, though. And they helped produce this album. And one of them, Braille, makes an appearance on the song March 10th and a 3rd. And Odd Thomas makes an appearance on, I think, 10 to Get In. The music on Fly Exam, the music and the production, is very different from basically all other rap music. This album has a theme. The theme of Fly Exam, you can kind of tell from the album cover and some of the song titles, like So Fly, Fahrenheit 99, which is like a reference to like the novel, I think in the title to give that kind of futuristic sci-fi kind of vibe. Lost in Space, Fly Exam, Hummingbird Stance, Butterfly Stance, Take Off With Me, They Said There'd Be Jetpacks. These kind of just, this album lyrically and musically has a sci-fi future kind of theme. And that definitely translates in the music. A lot of the music on this album is sputtering. A lot of it is made with a computer. Like, it has a lot of little effects and stuff that kind of just give this little flair, give this little extra taste of sci-fi. These little touches that make it kind of a sci-fi sounding album that are really good, that are really cool. Yeah. The number one thing about Jgivens that really makes him stand out is, one, super creative music. His first album was just insanely sample-filled. This one doesn't really have any samples, but still very creative. And, it doesn't have, any piano throughout the whole album, almost. It's all, vocal effects and little futuristic sound effects and sputtering. Like on the song So Fly and Fly Exam, you can really hear the sputteringness and it's all very different. But besides that creativity, the number one thing about Jgivens is his wordplay. It is so dense and so thick and so complex. Basically every line he says has 3 meanings. I'm not even joking. It's kind of like Tribe Called Quest, kind of like Asaph Rock, that kind of style of just really wordy. But instead of just being really wordy and having lots of wordplay, the lyrics actually mean something most of the time on this album. Besides being just insanely clever, they also have a lot of meaning. And a lot of that meaning comes from his Christian faith. A lot of the lyrics, basically every song on this has some allusion to his Christian faith, and some of them are more specifically about his Christian faith than others, like March 10th and a 3rd. Some of them are kind of like hype songs. Ignoranto and Fly Exam are really just kind of him kind of flexing, specifically Ignoranto. That's what this whole song is about, is I'm the greatest, what does he say? I'm your favorite rapper and your favorite rapper's favorite rapper, or something like that. Which I know that's not super clever wordplay, but it's a line on the song that kind of exemplifies the main theme of that song. Now, about this wordplay, honestly, this album, I think, has the best replay value, or some of the most replay value of any album ever, just for the incredibly dense wordplay. You're gonna hear something, listening to a song over and over again, you're gonna catch something new, some new super clever line that you didn't understand the meaning of or why it was clever, and it's gonna hit you like the 15th time you're listening to the song. It's crazy. First time I listened to this album, I didn't really care for it. Second time I listened to it, the first time I listened to it, I thought it was kind of boring. The second time I listened to it, I was like, okay, there's something cool here. There's something pretty cool going on with this album. Third time, I was like, okay, this is really good. Every time after that, it just got better. The lyrical content of this album is truly breathtaking. I can't think of any wordplay that's more skillful and clever and impressive as the wordplay on this rap album. I've never heard lyrical content this quality and this clever and this good on a rap album. In terms of how clever it is, in terms of the wordplay, in terms of how many meanings every phrase has on the album, just how clever everything is. The first song on this album, on Fly Exam, really stands out for, one, it's very fast rapping, and the beat is super hype. The beat is super hype. Once more has that futuristic, kind of very modern sound to it. And then you have the outro for this song, literally is like this explosion that's getting bigger and bigger, like a nuke goes off and the explosion's like this, and then like a nuke goes off within the nuke and it creates a bigger explosion within the nuke. It's just shaking, like this, someone's like filming it with their phone and the phone is like going like this, and the sound of the nuke is so, it's just crazy. The explosion on that song is crazy. Butterfly Stance is, most of the songs on this album really are not very upbeat. Most of them are very mellow sounding. They're pretty downbeat. Even the song So Fly has this really downbeat vocal sample that plays throughout the song. And even though the rest of the music, it picks up, but this vocal sample keeps playing. And so it kind of, this music kind of puts you in a mood in a way. It kind of, most of it is, the only times it gets really upbeat are Ignoranto and Fly Exam, and then everything else is kind of dark sounding or very mellow sounding. So Fly and Fly Exam have fantastic upbeat production. They're the only songs, like I said, that have the really upbeat production. And it sounds so good. It's sputtering. It goes in and out. It changes. Different things start happening. Especially on Fly Exam. That song is crazy. And So Fly, just the build-up and when the beat finally kicks in and he starts rapping, it's so cool. Such a cool song. Attack of the Clones is another slow one. And, I mean, it's a great song. It's just lyrically great. The guest artists, Jgivens, guest stars Jackie Hill Perry, they both do a very good job. The lyricism is just fantastic. The music is really good. Hummingbird Stance is kind of fantastic with the lyrics and the imagery in that song. The imagery is extremely bold and amazing and clever, and it just sticks with you, and it's just so good. It's so original and interesting and standout. Super Low Key is the darkest song on the album, or one of the darkest songs on the album. The music is this really kind of slightly distorted like guitar riff that's really heavy and deep like bass guitar, and the lyrical content addresses some very serious topics, and they seem to be very personal about struggling with temptation and stuff, and it's really pretty dark sounding. It sounds really, really cool, so this is a song that you're going to keep coming back to. For me, I just kept coming back to this song, but then the more you listen to it, the more you start to really hear the lyrics, and it's really a very, very heavy song in terms of lyrical content. And once again, insanely clever, especially the first verse. It's just really, really clever. Take Off With Me with Jgivens is really, really great. The lyrical content, once more, is through the roof. In this song, I think it's this song where he personifies things. Like he says, a suicidal building jumped off a man. And it's just like, man, it's somehow profound, yet also ridiculous. And he talks about windmills, paying windmills to dance as they're waving their hands, like making money, and it's like, whoa. It's just like, oh, also there's kind of a nature theme in some of these songs, or one of these this might also be the one with talking about his Uncle Sam and his Uncle Tom, and he's talking about them interacting, and it's like, it's so profound yet so clever and so interesting. It's just, it's like nothing. I've never heard anything like this before. This creative and clever and everything. It's just crazy. Honestly, I am not being thorough at all. I don't want this to be a long video. I don't like my videos being super long, but there is so much to talk about. I could do like a video on every song on this album, or 2 or 3 videos on every song on this album, because they're so complex. The lyrical content is so complex. The production, there's so much going on. It's so high quality. A lot of times it's not like blow you awake. Sometimes it's not really crazy and upbeat because it's mostly just mellow and dark sounding. But there's so much going on, and it's so high quality, and this album is just insane. I don't want to just keep on going on and on. There's one thing wrong with this album. There's one song that isn't great. Another song which is also not fantastic. There Might Be Jetpacks is a disappointing conclusion to the album. Honestly, it is a disappointing finale. The outro to this song is really interesting and really cool, and once more, it gets so much better the more you listen to the album. The outro is going to make no sense to you until you listen to the album like 3 or 4 times or more and like really listen to it. But that song is just, musically it doesn't sound that great, and lyrically it's not the sharpest thing on the album, and it really doesn't make sense to end the album on that song. Minus the outro, which makes sense to end the album with. Lost in Space. The album would have been better without this song on the track list. The guest artist gives a kind of a cringy performance. The music on this thing is kind of cringy. It's like trying to be epic and awesome sounding, but also kind of like dark sounding music. And the lyrical content of this song is actually kind of dumb. It's actually kind of dumb. He basically, in one part of the song, he tries to fit in as many pop culture references as he can in a short period of time. And it's literally just that. It's literally just pop culture references. Like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. And it doesn't have any meaning or anything. He's just trying to just cram in pop culture references. And it sounds so dumb and crude compared to how brilliant the lyrical content is for the rest of the record. So this and There Might Be Jetpacks are the things that lower this album down for me. But still, I think Fly Exam has the most impressive lyrical content, the most impressive wordplay, the most clever lyrics of any rap album or any album I've ever heard ever. Honestly, it's that good. The production is fantastic. So good. It can seem underwhelming, but the more you listen to it, the more you notice how clever it is and how original it is and how interesting it is. And if you can listen to slow stuff, because a lot of this is kind of slow, then you can really appreciate just how amazing this album is. I'm going to give this album a 4.75 out of 5. It is fantastic. Fly Exam, it's amazing. This is I'm going to say my third favorite album of all time. Because I used to say that it was my second favorite of all time, and then I remembered after doing the Hamilton video, or in preparation for the Hamilton video, just how amazing Hamilton is. And that's my favorite album of all time, is Hamilton. The Hamilton soundtrack. And then it's The Narrative by Sho Baraka. We're going to get into that later on this channel. When we get to the S's, it's going to take a little while for us to get that far, but we'll get there eventually. Hopefully. And this is my third favorite album of all time. It's fantastic. Humble Beast, production, and I just think Jgivens is the most talented guy ever. He's doing a new album. I'm supporting it on Patreon. It only has like 50 people supporting it, or 50-something people supporting it. If you're watching this video, and if you like Jgivens and you think this album's brilliant, I highly encourage you to support him, because it's going to be a fantastic album. I'm guessing, because so far he's only done 2 albums, and they're both brilliant. So I'm guessing this next one's going to be, brilliant. So, thank you for watching.